Reverberant Media presents an unabridged recording of Denver City Justice by J.v.L. Bell, narrated by Nancy Wu.
Chapter 1, January 3rd, 1864. A Winter Wedding. Mayhem poured out from the Beebe house dining hall as Millie peeked in and sucked down a breath. Oh, law! The hall was crowded with every man, woman, and child who lived in Idaho Springs. The townsfolk were packed shoulder to shoulder, as tight as a can of sardines, with children hanging from the rafters and men hollering as they sipped from their flasks. Everyone was dressed in their Sunday best, the men in faded flannel, patched buckskin, high ankle boots, and slouch hats, while the women wore sprigged calico dresses with paisley shawls. They were all waiting for her to marry Dominic Drouillard, or more likely, for the free meal after the ceremony. Millie backed into the shadows and leaned against the rough wall, taking several deep breaths. Icy air seeped through the holes between the boards as her stomach fluttered and her heart raced. She wanted to marry Dom. She loved him. But did she really know him? Just minutes ago, Widow Ferris had burst into her dressing room and insinuated Dom had a secret in his past. Something so appalling he'd paid Mr. Ferris blackmail gold to keep it quiet. Millie had heard that many of the men who'd come west during the Pikes Peak gold rush were running from something. But surely not Dom. No use hiding in the shadows. Widow Ferris's high-pitched, nasally voice pierced Millie's unease. Procrastinating won't change a thing. She gave Millie a shove, and they both tumbled into the candlelit, raucous dining hall. "There she is!" someone hollered, and the noise dropped from a roar to a low rumble. Millie straightened her skirt, regaining her balance, if not her dignity. This was her wedding. No way she'd let Widow Ferris ruin it. She glared at the woman before turning to face the crowd, forcing herself to smile. "Thank goodness you're here." Mrs. Beebe, the proprietress of the Beebe house, squeezed through the mass of bodies and hurried to Millie's side. The matron's normally impeccable gown was wrinkled, and her calm demeanor was replaced by wide eyes and jerking hand gestures. "The menfolk are getting restless," she whispered, her voice shaking slightly. "They're starting to take more than a nip from their flasks, eyeing the food table like a wake of vultures. And the smell!" She waved a gloved hand in front of her face. Reflexively, Millie sucked in a breath, and then wished she hadn't. Idaho Springs was deep in the Rocky Mountains, and bathing was considered optional by most miners, especially during the winter. Mrs. Beebe took Millie's arm and pulled her forward. "Make room! Let the bride come through!" The crowd shuffled and jostled until a narrow aisle formed. "That'll work for me," hollered Widow Ferris, knocking Millie and Mrs. Beebe aside. Dragging an easel and carrying a canvas and charcoal, Widow Ferris strutted between the audience like the bride-to-be. "I'm hired to sketch this wedding," she announced loudly. "I need a front row seat." "You hired her to sketch the wedding?" Mrs. Beebe whispered, sounding incredulous. "Can she even draw?" Millie had not hired Widow Ferris to sketch the wedding. She'd been touching up her hair, trying to calm her nerves, when Widow Ferris burst into her dressing room and announced Dom had a shameful past. The pinched-faced Widow Ferris wanted one of Millie's tear-shaped gold nuggets, "just like my husband used to get," to stay silent. Before Millie could find her voice, Widow Ferris insisted she'd sketch the wedding. "So your payment looks legit." Trying to hide her annoyance, Millie brushed a stray hair from her face and said politely, "Thank you, Mrs. Beebe, for allowing me to have my wedding here." Her southern accent stretched each word. "Widow Ferris is—" Her words petered out. The aisle had widened, and Millie caught sight of Dom. Her future husband looked, well, downright elegant. He towered over the crowd,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?